Error 404 versus Stronger Sans. I was gonna cancel this video, but that would be a horrible opportunity gone to waste. I've made so many memories on Undertale and just this fandom as a whole. I'm pretty sure a lot of people watching can relate with this. If there's one game I could play again with no spoilers, it'd probably be Undertale. Bro, you can move your mouse now. I feel like one of the reasons why this game got so popular was that it was just a breath of fresh air. We haven't seen anything like this in a long time. I'm not gonna go too in depth because bigger creators have already made a video about it, but your actions deadass affected the world around you. The fate of the underground changing from just the smallest decisions where you killed or spared certain people, there was actually passion put into this game. Literally no one was left out throughout any of the routes, which is why everyone is so loved throughout the fandom. I remember feeling so bad after killing Papyrus. Even after cutting his head off, he still believed in you. Honestly, I can't wait to see what he does in Deltarune, if he even shows up in the game. Nah, I trust Toby's writing. Another thing that makes the game special is the music. All the OSTs fit and actually immerse you into what's happening, which is why those bum ass copyright claiming ass niggas keep trying to make money off that shit. I know getting jobs is hard, but oh my god. But that's a topic for another day. I love how all the themes just seamlessly fit the characters. Like Bone Stressel being all fun and energetic. Papyrus is just so goated in general. Outfits giving you the nerdy feel. What a sad backstory she had, by the way. Her impact on the game was crazy. Asgore's intro leading up to him breaking the mercy button and then having the battle start like this. This game is genuinely so peak. I see people on TikTok calling Undertale and Deltarune corny. You don't even believe that, dog. And then Megalovania being the personification of the Joe character getting off his ass and locking in. People really don't understand how goated Sans was. Like, he made Flowey quit the genocide route, abuses every game mechanic known to man, and is a straight up anomaly in the verse. Him and his brother literally came out of nowhere, only to get nerfed by nihilism. Nobody can be perfect. Fun fact, in the True Pacifist route, specifically in the Lost Soul scene, Sans' text is shaky. The only character other than him that uses shaky text is Napstablu, and that's only when he's crying. Sans was literally crying in the Lost Soul scene. I don't think he can cry actual tears, but like, bro. Undertale is so deep. Like, all these characters have so many layers. Bro, you dick right in the game. I mean, that's not even glazed. Oh yeah, does anyone know that one animation where Frisk dies and Papyrus absorbs their soul, grows hair, and starts singing? I know that sounds weird, but I remember thinking that was the hardest shit when I was younger. Those are one of the many things that just made Undertale special, but I mainly want to talk about the Undertale AUs have made a huge impact on the fandom. Like, honestly, the community really wouldn't be the same without them. So it would only be fitting to cover them. Dog, did I just say them twice? Let's talk about Underfell, specifically the old one. Underfell may have been just a small concept at the time, but its rise to popularity was actually insane. Like, not even a full year after it was created, there were fan games, comic dubs, they were literally everything. Underfell got a little too popular, especially in the old Undertale fandom. Yeah, you know how to get down. But I'm gonna save that for later. Oh yeah, I mentioned fan games. Infinity? How? Jokes aside, that game wasn't even that bad. It just needed some work. Similar things can be said for a lot of Underfell fan games at the time. They were actually good. There is an old fan game on Scratch where Sans was still convinced on the kill or be killed motto, and he basically tries to tell Frisk that Asgore isn't gonna be like everyone else where you just talk to them and moved along. The game is actually good. Go try it. For what the old Underfell was about, to be honest, the new Underfell is way better, but in Undertale AU with edgy personalities with everyone out to get you, that would low-key be hard. You could probably make something off of that. As for what I said about Underfell getting a little too popular, I wasn't on Tumblr at the time, so I don't know much about it, but basically a lot of people hated the AUs back then. People were literally getting sent death threats just because they liked Underfell, and the group surrounding old Underfell literally got harassed for no good reason. Like, Tumblr was really the OG Twitter back then. I remember someone was getting harassed to high hell just because they drew a Steven Universe character wrong. Like, why was pro shipping glorified over normal content? This is a shit that doesn't even make sense. There was another AU called Flowerfell, but honestly, bro, some people say it's a Friends AU, some people say it's not. I really don't know. All I know that Sans was dripped the fuck out in that AU, so yeah, I guess. While the old Underfell did take a hard fall, the AU now is still in a pretty good state. Go check it out. Speaking of an AU that took a hard fall, why am I saying that like it's positive? Hold up, bro.
Hey, my phone is dead. My 911, I can't get through. Alberto right now threatening me about my life again. When the maintenance man cut my hand off, now you want to use the excuse to I punched Tino in the face. Y'all a motherfucking lie. Y'all crackers finna go to hell, motherfucker, cause y'all finna fuck goddamn God. Y'all fuck.
Yeah, whatever Uncle's on about. Underswap, man, they really massacred this AU.
Images.
Yeah, I'm just gonna save that for later. Fandom aside, Underswap had so much potential, dog. Like, I don't think people would understand how much would change if a whole universe swapped on itself. Like Sans and Papyrus. Since Papyrus knows about timelines, how would he feel about resets? Would he still be a nihilist or react differently? Since Azrael swapped with Monster Kid, how would he feel about his family being separated? What would the Monster Kid fight even look like? What would the Toriel fight even look like? Like, Underswap could have been so much more, but for how it turned out to be, I'm fine with it. Its impact on the fandom wasn't as big as Underfell's, but it was noticeable. It was mainly just on a comic side of things. To be honest, I can't really say anything that's not bringing up Underverse or things like Blueberry, Foncest, or Yandere Swap Sans. Yo, would anyone even care if I brung that up or not? Swap doesn't even deserve this treatment. Why would y'all even do this to him? Yes, y'all, I'm talking about you watching. But jokes aside, I joined the Undertale fandom in 2017, so I don't know a lot about this. I just know it was there. Why Blueberry so cute even he kills for senpai? I want you to know that these videos had an insane amount of views, by the way. None of this was niche. Stalking is like two people taking a romantic walk together and only one of them knows about it. Yeah, if I saw people do this with my creation, I'd leave the fandom too. Other than Underswap getting dragged to absolutely hell and back, nowadays it's just seen as there. We do have TS Underswap, but it's not really Underswap, it's just a take on the AU. So sorry that I don't really have much to say about Underswap, it's just that like, I don't know, the fandom really didn't do much about it other than like the weird shit. And Underswap doesn't really have a story other than just like people swapping places, so. Same with Story Shift, I am not covering that AU because it literally has nothing. Alright, it's finally time to cover an AU with actual stuff in it. Epictale was so goated and I don't think anyone could replicate the AU in general. I'm not gonna talk about the story since I'm saving that for another video. I do have something to say for the old Epictale though. This section is mainly just about appreciating how good the AU was for its time. Like, we have to talk about the fights. I honestly only need one example. After Epigaster absorbs First Soul, Sans gets to have a small talk with him, mostly about how much everyone's grown the past few years and where they're at now. Sans talks about how ever since the underground found out that Frisk was missing, most of them were sad and Sans secretly wished they were sad. Mainly because there isn't really a happy ending without Frisk, so Sans asks if they're really sure about letting Epigaster take their soul. Frisk is fine with it, saying that as long as everyone can live without everything being reset, then they're happy. But Sans can obviously see that Frisk wants to go back and assures to them that everything will be alright, with the next page basically cutting to Sans and Gaster having a standoff. I know I said I'm holding off on the story for another video, but I don't know why people barely talk about Epictale's writing as much as other AUs. It's genuinely good. Like, every death in this series impacts the verse in some way, shape, or form. Epic Sans asks Epigaster if he wants to have a bruh time. I cringe so hard while saying that, because if he takes another step forward, yeah, you already know Gaster wasn't having all that. So Epic Sans slaps him all around the corridor with Epigaster somehow landing in front of bro, with Sans following up by one-shotting him. And just take a look at the art, dog. Everything here at this point is hand-drawn, and I love how Yugo can just do all that and somehow make it fire. Gaster says that he's waited many years just to fuse with First Soul, and he's not gonna let anyone disrupt his goal, even if it means killing his own species. So Epic Sans decides to challenge this and launches Gaster up into the air, kicking him down with a blaster right after. Gaster looks around for Sans, just for Sans to teleport behind him with a fake attack, and then ramming him into a pillar with another one of his blasters. Gaster revives, and Sans is just taunting him at this point. This is why no Epictale character can do it better than him. Sans tells Gaster that his desire to destroy humanity is leading him to a dark path, and Gaster is obviously ignorant to this. Gaster says that MonsterCon has been forced into the underground just because the humans feared them, and he only feels pity, wanting only one race to exist. And if that's what makes him evil, then so be it. Sans shoots a blaster at Gaster with him dodging in advance. He knew this was gonna happen, so he redirects the blaster only for Gaster to break it. With Sans counter-attacking with 4 more blasters, yo, the battle IQ with both these guys is crazy. Sans throws Gaster into multiple bones, and you can tell he's had enough of this, so he uses Epic Sans' distraction to take his eye. Man, Sans had that for so long, I forgot it was originally made by Gaster. Gaster knows that Sans is basically fodder in this state, so he decides to give him an ultimatum. Run and live another day, or get vaporized by his own blasters. You already know what he's picking. Gaster shoots his blasters thinking the fight's over, but Sans absorbs them with his hand plates. This is another reason why he's the best Epictale character.
Oh my god, hop off his dick!
Anyway, Sans absorbs the attack and powers up, basically saying that if he shoots these blasters back at him, he wouldn't be able to stand against it, and he'll be the one obliterated. Even if Gaster also tries to absorb the attack, he wouldn't be able to handle it. But Gaster still has one more trick up his sleeve, so he charges up his blaster by shooting 2 other blasters onto it, while Sans cups his hands, charging a whole Kamehameha. He states that he's putting everyone's hopes and dreams onto this attack, with them basically having a beam crash. Sans points out the irony of Gaster killing his own race for his own race. Yeah, actually, why does he do that? And Gaster replies saying that most ambitions require sacrifices. Sans puts more power into the blast, and Gaster decides that he'll start trying now, saying that soon mankind will join him into oblivion. Mofos get carried by their eyes and think they're everything, huh? But Sans knows that the good guys always get a random power-up after the villain gives a victorious speech, shooting one final blast, ending the fight once and for all. But to no avail. With that, Epic Sans has given it his all, and now it's his time to go. He tried his best, but now it's all up to the others. Sans sends his regards to Frisk, ensuring that one of them will come and save them. Also telling Frisk to try not to have second thoughts just because he's gone. And finally, Papyrus. Epic Sans apologized to him, apologizing for not being able to make it back alive. And with that, he finally dusts away. All of that was off of one fight, by the way, and I could have shown way more. Now, I will admit that was probably the best example, but if I used anything else, it wouldn't have strengthened my point on how goated Epictale was. But the old Epictale, there's a reason why I skipped that. None of the characters ever get any spotlight except for Kara, Sans, and Neutral Frisk. The overall writing is just rushed, and all it is just fights. Now, I am guilty of only liking it used because of hype and aura, but there was barely any writing in the old Epictale. So I felt like bringing up the old Epictale would only undermine the good writing the new Epictale had. But that aside, Epictale in general had a huge following. Like, a video about Epic Sans being in Underverse got 3.1 million views, and he was barely in Underverse. You knew if Cross and Epic Sans were in the same sentence, the video was gonna be fire. Best Sans AU duo in my opinion. Speaking of Cross Sans, words cannot explain what the Undertale fandom would be without Underverse. And the sheer passion and heart put into this series, oh my god, bro. Every character in this series has some rhyme and reason of why they're there, having a purpose in what they do or even how they act. Except for the Undertale cast, they got done dirty. But I'll save that for a later section. I feel like my favorite episodes are 0.3 part 1 and 2. Cross Sans getting reminded of the X-Tail characters, Swap Sans wanting to believe in X-Kara, and then the aftermath of everything. That was really the highlight of season 1. If that episode got directed by someone else, it would not be as good. It goes so far that an announcement of JK just taking a hiatus got 270k views. That's how much of an influence she has had on the fandom. I give my thanks to JK for her amazing series. Seeing everything unfold for the first time was honestly insane. I can't make a video like this without talking about Sans Comic TV for a little bit. I don't watch them anymore, but I do remember binging their content a lot when I was younger. I swear these guys had everything. I didn't even know until a couple months ago that these guys made a video about Delta Sans. The catalog was crazy. This channel alone brought so many comics and AUs to light. I used to think Undertale was so peak back then. My opinion on it now, maybe because I haven't read it in a long time, but now I just think it's mid. But I might reread it again soon. These mofos do the most in every single video. Like the Fatal Error comics. The comics were already fired. Let me know if you want a video about them. But you have to see this.
Dare you even think for the slightest moment that I don't love Papyrus enough to do anything to bring him back?
It just goes to show how dedicated they were. Like, really going through this channel right now, there's a reason why they have 1.7 million subscribers. I really thought this song was so hard back in the day. Dusttale, Something New, and Horrortale were like the go-to AUs in the Undertale fandom, and it makes sense. All of these three AUs have extremely unique concepts. Take Horrortale for example. The reason why that AU was so loved was because it actually felt like a horror AU. The infamous head dog, everyone slowly going insane because of the core breaking down. The art style really complements this too. Sans lobotomizing Alphys. Like, you can never predict what would happen next. And that's what I also love about Horrortale, the unpredictability and everyone just having nothing to lose. Like, it really showed how hopeless everyone was. Undyne literally lost a piece of candy and turned into a big event. That's how deep in Section 8 everyone is. Actually, I don't even think that program can help them. So yeah, I think you can see why it was so big in the fandom. And obviously it was everywhere, just like Underfell too. Dusttale. I have a lot to say about Dusttale. See, the problem with Dusttale is that there really is nothing to it. We do have an ass blog, but there's just no personality to it. Only the bare minimum. But let's say you want to find a canon Dusttale comic. Dog, you literally have to search the 7 seas of the internet just to find one. But what about the Dusttale novels? Can you find anything with that? The novels are cool and they add a lot of writing to Dusttale, but it's not canon, so we can't really count that. And to add on that, there's so much wasted potential. Like, most of the time, the human resets after Sans kills 1 or 2 major characters. Like in the first few chapters, Murder kills an Aaron and a few waterfall monsters and fights the human who was fresh out the ruins. The human hits Murder expecting him to get one shot, but Murder takes him and teleports away. Now, since the human is the player and not Frisk or Kara, you may think they would be interested and see this through. Nah, they just reset. Like, do you get what I'm saying here? I'm pretty sure we don't even get anything Mettaton related, not even a fight. We could have had a battle between Murder Sans and the human in the last quarter, but it just doesn't happen? Speaking of the human, they get stomped in most of the fights. Like, I get Sans is stronger now, but the human can't even do anything. Now, apart from the novels, Undertale just not having that much stuff in general is the reason why no one tries to replicate its canon in a fan game sense. A fan game like that just wouldn't work and it would be extremely bland. Like, look at this screenshot, bro. The only canon is just the concept of the AU, but I can't ignore Undertale's impact on the fandom. It wouldn't be the same without it. I was gonna say Killer Sans was like a side character in the fandom, but he's actually pretty popular even to this day. Probably because of Underverse, but yeah, it's not that bad. Actually, Killer has everything. Good story, chill creator, and fire themes, especially on the themes. If you haven't already, please go watch this video. It's so good. Speaking of the themes, it is really hard to find bad music in the Undertale fandom. Like, I can make a whole video of that on itself. Like Jeffrey Watkins, you probably don't even remember him by name, but you definitely know the... $10 million views and it's all deserved. He also made the Mafia and Undertale OST. I actually use the Undertale OST a lot because YouTube's always on dick when it comes to Undertale music, but that's a time for another day. Gang, I was literally researching on YouTube and I found this shit. That just goes to show how deep the Undertale fandom is, bro. Oh my god.
If you're evil and you're on the rise, you can count on the four of us taking you down. Cause we're good and evil can't crush our dreams. Win the fight and then go out for an ice cream. On my life, YouTube, you're wrong for showing me this. The video goes hard, but you're still wrong for showing me this. The star stanzas are a whole nother rabbit hole. I'm not even gonna get into that in this video. If Underfell and Horrortale were everywhere, then Ink and Error were like staples in the fandom. I'm gonna start with Ink since I talk about Error a lot on this channel. This video was how I found out Ink Sans even existed. Like, I didn't even know who Komiya was when I saw this. I'm pretty sure everyone recognizes this fight, and as fanon as it is, this fan game was genuinely good. I like how Ink describes how horrible you were because you basically destroyed everything, obviously. Stuff like you hid your crime to others and killed the weak, and you wasted all the timelines just for your cruel greed, are just cool pieces of dialogue throughout the game. And the attacks were unique. I'm surprised no one really took inspiration. Instead, it was just... Or fan games like this. There was literally no rhyme or reason to these attacks back then. I really need to know the thought process when making this. And notice how in most of these games, easy mode is on. Like, bro, you know what? I'm saving that for another segment. Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to mention were the AUs. This fan game really has everything. Even with some AUs I don't even recognize, I can still tell what's happening. To be honest, it's actually nice seeing little attacks like these. I know it's not a 2016 Undertale fan game, but surprisingly, this still holds up. It's not as bad as I remember. Oh yeah, it also had the Fire Ink Sans theme everyone remembers. Oh yeah, speaking of the themes, y'all remember when people just took Megalovania remixes and then put it on a random Sans AU? I know it sounds weirdly specific, but let me explain. The guy who found this remix and turn it into a Dust Sans theme. Do you know how many people got tricked into thinking this was actually for Undertale? I was one of them. I was literally one of them. So this video that was made on 2018, it wasn't even for Dust Sans. It was just for a Megalovania remix. And for some reason, this guy just put Dust Sans onto it and then called it his theme. Bro didn't even give credit at all. I'm not even trying to expose him, but it would have been crazy as hell if that got more views than the original. Dust Sans isn't even the only one. There's a lot of other remixes that just got used for Sans AUs for some reason. Like Fresh Sans. People took this and made it into his theme. I'm pretty sure they did it with Geno Sans as well. Yo, people were dead ass using these remixes for anything. Like Waters of Megalovania was used for Ultra Sans. I know it sounds weird that I'm bringing this up for an Ink Sans segment, but people were just doing that back then. Nowadays you get flamed for it though. Matter of fact, now that we're on this theme right here, that might even have been for Swap Sans, because the guy who made that video linked the original song, and sadly it got deleted, but it could have been another Megalovania remix for all we know. And notice how Ink Sans doesn't need a stolen Megalovania remix for his theme. I just realized that the Ink Sans theme I've been talking about a minute ago was a literal Megalovania remix. I mean, at least we have my boy Error. That aside, this fandom would not be the same without Ink Sans. Like, he was a huge part of the community. Without this guy, Underverse wouldn't even happen. There would be no Ink and Error rivalry. The animations, this fan game wouldn't exist. And it just goes on and on. And Ink Sans had good running. Like, him being based on a scrap that you due to the creator's demotivation was fire. I might actually make a video about that. By the way, this panel goes so hard. And everything I said about Ink applies to Error too. I don't even need to explain the generational run he had. Also, no one talks about how hype it must have been to be on the Ask Error blog in 2016. Back then,
beginning, no one knew anything about Air. Like, I clown on him a lot on this channel, but he was actually moving crazy in his verse. Like, even before we found out Air was Geno Sans, he stole First Soul, killed everyone in Underswap, and had that universe's Papyrus stressing. He really could have killed Swap Papyrus if he was motivated to. But even when he couldn't, Air Sans kidnapped Swap Sans and later got him turned into an Air, destroyed 2 extra universes, and if Core First didn't take Swap Papyrus to the Omega timeline, Air could have came back and laughed at him in his lowest and destroyed the verse. Oh yeah, he destroyed Ghost Tail too. Like, looking at his win to lose ratio, he has 1 loss against... Yo, this guy was never a fraud. Like, I owe him an apology. UV Arrow gets consistently fodderized while Cannon Arrow is pulling generational numbers. There's a reason why everyone made him a god for the longest of times in a lot of animations. Now that I'm bringing up the animations, we have to appreciate a lot of the animators in this fandom. Like, art takes time. It's not often you see avid animators, but we have so much of them. Like, Stronger Than You. This video was so big it got more views than the original. And looking back at it, this animation still holds up. It's surprisingly the most canon Sans fight. I love Sans's reaction to Papyrus's death. And a part of the video showing Frisk was basically past forgiveness was fire. The only thing I slightly didn't like was Sans calling himself Determination, but that was the only con I can find. And without it, these 2 videos wouldn't exist. Quick honorable mention as well. Glitch still had the fandom in a chokehold as well. I remember everyone calling that shit an anime masterpiece. No matter what you think about the series, you cannot deny the impact it had. Millions of views on each video is crazy. Nekba Animator was a big part of the fandom too. I never seen someone evolve from this to this. What even happened in those 2 to 3 years to randomly lock in like that? I'm not really good at explaining animation, so I'm just gonna name my favorite videos from him. Delta versus Epic Sans was peak. I like the simplicity of Cross versus Epic Sans. Neon versus Ace was also goated. I'm surprised his modern animations don't get much traction. Fell Sans was low-key fighting for his life in this video, but it wasn't as bad as Revolver's GG Fell. And Sans versus Fandom, that was fun to watch too. Chase Animates had a huge glow up also. These videos look like they were made by completely different people, but it's kind of weird how his older videos got more traction than his newer ones. I remember him making an animation about VHS versus Fatal Error, but I could not find it on YouTube. Maybe it was made by someone else, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Chase quit or took a break from animating, but he's doing good now. Revolver Animations doesn't even need a discussion. Neck, Chase, and this guy were like the big 3 of Undertale animators. They impacted the fandom a ton. I remember binge watching their videos so much when I was younger. Like, looking back at it, these 3 were really talented. They deserved the traction they got. Alright, this video has gone on for like, what, 20 minutes? I think it's safe to end it right here with some honorable mentions of things I didn't include. Yamato41, as weird as he is, he did make Villain Sans Squad, and without that, we wouldn't have the bad Sanses. He also created the Murder Sans Stronger Than You, which was fire as well. Dreamtail had a big impact on the fandom. That AU was pretty cool, but I just wish there were more Undertale characters to it before Nightmare showed up. Chaotic Time Trio, not really a big impact on the fandom, but the OST was fire, so I had to bring it up. Same with the ending time Aute. Ichika, I never really watched her content, but she was big into fandom, so. Oh yeah, and Mr. Amazing VA's dubs are cool too. I'm not gonna lie, I probably missed a lot of people, but you get the idea. This fandom was amazing to be in, and I had to make a video on it. Undertale would not be as big as it was if it wasn't for this community, and the fact that it stayed 10 years strong just supports that. I thank everyone that was a part of this fan base, and my special thanks goes to Toby Fox for his amazing game.